Welcome back to Tyranny! We were just about to talk to Berrick, which we just got. Stop, get out of being... Why are you...
No reason to tarry.
Why is this thing is like... I don't know. Let's just quick save. Always start it off with a good old quick save. And then click this to speak with Barick.
You look as if you have something on your mind. By all means.
Placing his weapon to his side, Barick salutes you. The joints of his armor groan in protest. He's actually, I just started out with loyalty 1, cool.
What can I do for you?
Alright, let's click all the things. Let's discuss some imminent concern. Let's start at the top, not at the bottom. I'd like to know more about you. I'm the line your enemies cannot cross. All other details are meaningless, but I suspect you have some thirst for details, so ask away. Did you seek the trade of war, or did it find you? Both, I suppose, as he looks off valiantly into the sunset. His character model's like... both, I suppose. I knew fighting was in my blood, and the Disfavored offered me a chance to use my skills to bring peace. Otherwise, I'd have wound up some brigand or an enforcer to a crooked merchant. Berrick taps his scabbard, looking away in thought. And this is verse saying, you think Ash and his legion bring peace? That's cute, but it doesn't hold water from where I'm standing, big guy. I've seen them spill as much blood as any chorus gang. You've clearly been too busy sacking villages and stealing crops to notice how a proper army conducts a war. We sow order, not discord. So, Versus has a point. Could we consider their approach and then gain average fear? Berrick is right, the Scarlet Course is too chaotic to recognize order, gain average loyalty. Or, you two are worse than Ash in the voices, stop this at once, and then he fears me. And also, I can say nothing. I wonder if saying nothing will be interesting. Scarlet Course is too chaotic to recognize order. Maybe say nothing. Enough of this. You make us look foolish before the Fatefinder. So I get nothing? Maybe I should have clicked something. May I continue my story? Do you plan on interrupting again? Barick waits until Verse makes a rude, dismissive wave before continuing. The Disfavored needs... Yeah, I just... No, I don't want... No, we'll talk later. Loading. I fucking want that. I want some points in the things. I want points in the things. I'm sorry. I know it was really pathetic.
You look as if you have something on your... What can I do for you?
I want points in the things. Points in things. Barick is right. Yeah. I can see you're beginning to understand. The course is a useful tool to throw at one's enemy, but it grows brittle with age and is soon replaced. The Disfavored needed recruits in anticipation for the march south. They offered to care for my mother and brother as long as I stayed with the Legion, which is a better guarantee than you'll find anywhere else. I was an elite fighter as far as most were concerned, though still green by Disfavored standards. Luckily for everyone, my skills improved under the Iron Marshal's rigorous training. Tell me about your name. Berrick is a shortening of my northern surname, which has been passed down through the generations since Graven Ash assembled his army. I go by it because I wear it with pride. The proper form is Barrickonen. Damn. Beyond its age and association with the General's Legion, the name of Barrickonen has no great titles or associations. I hold no claim to a great house or legacy, save for the Disfavored. They are all the kin I need. What's the story with your armor?
It is a symbol of Kairos' will, one that I am not likely to forget. I found this armor. Perhaps it would be better to say that it found me during the Edict of Storms.
What happened during the Edict of Storms? When we heard that Kairos would proclaim the edict, we rushed into the field to battle the forces of Stalwart. I was shoulder to shoulder with some of the Legion's most decorated veterans, and my pride blinded me to the danger. Our march was a hasty one. A cohort of Disfavored soldiers vanished in the second year of the war, among them the daughter of Graven Ash. After a long silence, we learned that she was held in the fortress of Sentinel Stand. Go on. As we surrounded the citadel, I heard the opening peals of thunder, as did the scout I was busy trying to kill. Then the winds hit like an avalanche. Many of us begged Kairos for deliverance. What else were we to do? The winds knocked the legs of our offensive out from under us. All the decorated soldiers I brought to the battle were swept up and dashed to pieces, their armor and bodies mixing with the dirt of a tornado that spun in maddening revolutions. A piece of the citadel wall broke off and nearly crushed my skull. I only remember a few scattered moments from the storm, like the flying bits of bronze and iron cutting my flesh, the severed limbs of fallen soldiers tumbling through the air. Eventually, I woke up, thinking myself trapped under rubble. When I rose and felt like I was buckling under my own weight, that's when I realized I was stuck, right and truly stuck, inside this heap of scrap. What happened to Ash's daughter during the edict's hit? She was trapped behind the wall of Sentinel Stand, imprisoned by Kairos' storm as well as the fortress itself. 1,000 soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder could not have endured those winds to rescue her. How did you survive when everyone fell? That is a mystery to me as well. Did Kairos hear my plea for mercy? Did this heap of scrap metal protect me, imprison me, punish me? He rubs the back of his helmet with his gauntleted hand, a pantomime of a gesture his armor prohibits. I don't have enough fingers or toes to count the possible reasons, so I try not to dwell on them. You're generally stuck in there? Haven't tried taking it off? I made attempts in the past, even had one of the beast haulers pull on the helmet while another pulled on my boots. The men in the phalanx have taken great pleasure in trying to find ways to liberate me. In time, I grew wary of the struggle. Sometimes I fear that removing the armor would be to question Kairos' judgment and risk a more odious curse. Damn, he's like really a god to them. Look like pretty solid protection. That would be an understatement. If it only protected me from foolish questions. Berrick regards you in such a way that you can tell he's rolling his eyes. A forlorn sigh escapes his helmet. Yeah, but he's not pissed off at me. Do you handle your own repairs? I try to keep the surface oiled to slow the spreading rust, and I bend the plates from time to time. Repairs? Maintenance? No. If you have any idea of how to better maintain this situation, I'm open to discussing them. Back to my questions about you. So, by all means, Fatebinder, as with all Disfavored, I assume you grew up in the Northern Empire? That's right, I grew up in Battle's Rest, then trained at Fort Resolution before they marched me out to support the second cohort. I hope to spend my resting years in Ferriton Shores, unless of course I die in glorious battle, which would be preferable. My mother is good with the soil, my father with rings. He spends much of his time away on one merchant's errand or another. Still, I'm lucky to say they're both alive. I would like to discuss. Would you like to discuss removing your armor? Really? He looks at you for a very long time, his expression as unreadable as ever.
Though we are encouraged to couple and mate within the Legion, I don't consider you one of my cohorts. I think I'll decline.
I wasn't talking about sex, Barick. That's not a... Wait, you're saying the answer would be different if I was Disfavored?
I don't know how long you've harbored these thoughts, but I would strike them from your imagination. I won't be leaving this armor anytime soon, and you have no hopes of breaching it without capable tools and endless patience.
We're getting that armor off, and I'm getting that... I will see you naked, Berrick. Alright.
Suffice it to say, my armor and I will not be separated for the time being. When the war is over, perhaps Tunon will lend me one of his forge-bound. Until then, here I remain. My armor saved me from the destruction of Stalwart, where thousands of others lost their lives. So you can see why I continue to wear it. For the time being, we will not be separated.
And also you literally cannot move it because it's kind of stuck on you. But sure. Are you comfortable? I've somehow developed enough calluses that I can sleep at night, but I wouldn't call that comfort, would you? This is my armor. It has everything it needs and more. Purpose, meaning strength. If it were comfortable, that would only take away from its other qualities. Clearly. Do you ever want it removed? I would not speak of this now, Fatebinder. Please, consider the topic closed. As your commander, I'm concerned about the state of your uniform. Aww. Aww, so cute. Perhaps the make myself clear. We are discussing it now. And then he can fear us a little bit. We have a good amount of loyalty. Let's get some fear. You certainly know how to throw your authority around when you need to. That is your right as Fatebinder of Tunon, but very well, if you insist. Rises to full height and regards you with impassive coldness. Damn. Be sure you tell the Fatebinder everything, you ironclad heap. Wouldn't want a negative report sent to your beloved general, would you? You will be silent! Berrick hisses, the sound like steam escaping between his plates. Challenges his betters and yells at women. Be sure to indicate that in your report, Fatebinder. Turns to you wearing a smug smile. She's a bitch. She's a right-on bitch. Berrick says nothing for a time, his chest rising and falling in an erratic breath that he struggles to equalize. Then he releases a deep exhaltation and continues. I don't need you to tell me this suit of junk is a literal pain in my ass. Half broken, smelling of a midden, and perpetually jabbing my side with some Kairos be damned caltrope. These dusty plates may not be the standard, but they serve the disfavored well enough on the battlefield, if only to intimidate the enemy. Better for me to endure this condition than to shriek an advantage. Considering that I wore this as I marched across the bones of stalwart that was, my burden growing heavier with each step, I have no desire to leave it behind. It's a lesson, a reminder, and yes, a prison, but all of those things make it something more. These plates have something to me in them, of me in them. They are wicked as a bramble patch, as stubborn as a fortress, and hopelessly flawed. At present, removing my armor is not an option. If that ever changes, I suspect that the tears will tremble with the impact of my collapsing fortification. What a day that will be. What does Graven Ash think of your predicament? I suspect that he doesn't. Not to besmirch his great general, he has larger matters to consider than any one soldier's. He shrugs, sends a puff of debris clattering to the ground. How long do you think it can last? The armor hasn't shown any sign of weakening, and my maintenance regime is all that keeps it from rusting solid. Were I to stop applying oil and give in to entropy, this shell would harden to a degree that no Forge Master has ever seen. I think it could very well stand for as long as the old walls, with my skeleton peering out from the depths, and someday not even that. Now, isn't that a cheery thought? Says Verse. Tell me about what you can and can't do. I can strike fear into the hearts of our enemies and protect a shield wall with my very body. What more do you need? How do you vacate your bowels? Asking the real questions here. Let's say manage poorly. The parts of this misbegotten thing I can reach are in better repair than the ones I can't. How do you take pleasure from life? Ooh, damn! Oh, Jesus! Fuck, that's... I feel bad. Click. Are we actually talking about this, Faintbinder? Do you have something better to do than wonder how I access my nether regions for a frenzied bout of self-interest? Access my nether regions for a frenzied bout of self-interest. I could not, have I tried, put it better. I could not. I don't want to hear this. How do I even run far enough to avoid it? Where's Plugster Houston winces against the inevitable? Well, I can't, and not from lack of trying. My works are inaccessible from the outside, and much as I've tried to worm my arm out of the sleeve of iron, I would only succeed in dislocating my shoulder. If you ever think me frustrated or disagreeable, just imagine what I've dealt with since the 3rd year of the Conquest, or more accurately, what I haven't dealt with. Damn! How do you fare in water? Better to ask, how do I sink? The answer is quickly. Water passes my lips easily enough, though I take great care to keep it from anywhere else. Back to my other questions about your armor. Let's talk about something else. Tell me about this favor. Oh, that's another thing. Oh, something else. 3. We are the Iron Legion, the warrior elite of Kairos' fighting force. I could easily lose count of the hours extolling our glories. What is it you'd like to know? Any notable battles? I've served in Stalwart for the better part of a year, faced the enemy everywhere from Coral Run to Sentinel Stand. I lost count of the battle. Seems like we fought every other day. Aside echoes the Cavern of the Helm. Some of our best victories took place there, fighting an enemy worthy of our iron, but we were not successful enough to please the Overlord, and the final intervention was harsh on us all. Berrick takes in a deep breath, his arm folding as his posture stiffens. I had an unusual view of the Edict of Storm. Kairos' judgment left its mark on me, yet considering how we fought at Stalwart with the skill and honor of legend, only the Edict is remembered. A shame. Tell me about Graven Ash. Graven Ash is the general of the Disfavored, veteran of centuries of battle and an Archon without peer. I would follow him to the void and back without question. Swings his arm in salute. How did you come to serve Kairos? Before the uniting of the Northern Empire, Graven Ash served as a warlord in the service of one of the local kings that defied Kairos' rule. Incredible as it may seem, Ash stood against Kairos' rule. Though his army was dismantled by Kairos' overwhelming numbers, Ash's forces performed admirably. It was said that he and his troops claimed 70 and 7 lives for each of their own. Sure. Kairos took an interest in the military genius that bloodied his army. Graven Ash was summoned to a conclave of Archons, and though he was sent in chains, he left as an Archon, having been granted a position of power in Kairos' great host of war. Thus the Disfavored were born. All of us today trace our line back to those warriors that impressed Kairos with their will and tenacity. The only difference is now we fight on the winning side. Though the general seldom speaks of it, I know that Ash humbled himself in order to spare his troops the brunt of Kairos' punishment. His loyalty to the old blood of the North is beyond question. He made the right choice to save his troops, or so Ash bent the knee to a conqueror. Let's go with some... We have one tier of fear, let's go with more loyalty. He made the right choice to save his troops. Yeah, are we level 2 now? Yeah, we are. So average is 50%, usually. And he would make it again to save any of us. There's never been a more devout and attentive leader. Barick makes a proud fist and steps to a salute with a forceful clatter of pots and pans. What else do you know of his past? I follow him into battle. I am not a personal scribe, and if I did know more of him, it would not be my place to say. Takes a half step back, folding his arms across his chest. As an Archon, what magic does he wield? Ash works his magic through us, his soldiers. When we do battle, Ash seems to know the events even before our runners have given word. Most importantly, though, he protects us. It's a bit tricky to explain unless you've experienced it. I can think of countless times I've been struck by a spear or hit with an axe, and even run through with an arrow, and in each of these moments, the pain and injury just ceased to be. None of us know how he does it, or how he can sense that we're in danger and intervene from afar, but I suppose that's why he's an Archon. What he does probably wouldn't make sense to someone like me. How do you feel about Graven Ash? I love him like a dad. How do I feel about him? Archon Ash is the bravest, warmest, most compassionate general who has ever lived. He's a living icon of leadership and courage. Berrick tilts his head slightly to the side as far as the suit's limited range of motion permits. Ash is a soldier, and he doesn't kill for sport. A leader, but he doesn't issue commands to hear himself talk. He demands discipline and sober conduct of his troops, and I applaud such standards and gargle his testicles. I'm getting a bit profane here. Back to my questions about the Disfavored. Go on, I'm listening. What can you tell me of your time in the Legion? I joined the Legion 3 years before the Conquest of the Tears began. Though handy with a few weapons, my size made me the perfect addition to a phalanx. I've served with the stone shields ever since. Proud to say I've stood front row, right corner, in over a dozen battles. Right corner. That has been my place ever since the Iron Marshal gave me the assignment. The Bastard City, the Gates of Judgment, Vengeance Pass, Auckland's Ring, a quick tour in Bears and Chains, and then Stalwart. I spent a long time in Stalwart. Lost a lot of friends there. What of the other Disfavored lieutenants? They are Graven Ash's most trusted officers and warriors from the Iron Guard. Between Ash's arcane powers of command and his cadre of gifted leaders, there's a little confusion or chaos in the ranks. Tell of the one they call Iron Marshal? She takes it upon herself to train in harder or greener recruits. Not only that, she has a keen eye for talent and how to foster it for leadership. She is the youngest member of the Iron Guard. Her family line served the Disfavored back before Ash bowed to Kairos. Say what you will of how many seasons she's weathered, her lineage is impressive beyond measure. What of Karen's disciple, Radix? An Earthshaker who swore service to Karen a few years before the conquest. Since Karen is gone, the cult now follows Radix. Unlike his Archon, at least he knows how to follow orders. To his credit, Radix seemed to appreciate the honor of fighting alongside the Disfavored. Karen was always peeved to be invited in the glory. Sorry. Whew, the mages seem an unnecessary complication. They are insubordinate and can't lug their own supplies, but I would not want to go to war without their spells of tremor and leaping stones. What of the Scoutmaster, Merrick? Merrick and Berrick. Merrick is a devoted leader, and Ash seems to hold his counsel in high regard. Both set their troops ahead of themselves, which I'm sure is why they work so well together. He's no magician, but he does share a special connection to his warband, and they are entrusted with the most important scouting assignments. They say he can see what his scouts see, hear what they hear. What about the veteran warrior Verimas? He is the finest of us, second only to Ash. Verimas is an Avocatus, a soldier who lived to see the end of his term of service. It's rare for anyone to survive that long, much less willingly return. These days he lends his tactical expertise to Graven Ash, though by all rights he should be enjoying his twilight years in a seat of honor and dignity. But questions. Why didn't the leader prevent the uprising of Vendrian as well? I think that's a question you ought to ask the Scarlet Chorus. They were charged with ensuring the locals remain vanquished and unarmed. Merrick lunches Disfavored forward as he speaks, iron plates grinding under his motion. Disfavored Chorus lead, the duty was theirs to fail. Major fear, major fear. If the Chorus had conscripted more aggressively, perhaps there would not have been uprising. I would say that Vendrian and Israel are really the only guilty party. It was their rebellion, after all. And then we get average fear. So definitely going with one of the major things. And we do have loyalty, so let's go with super fear. More aggressively, perhaps they would not have been... Oh, the Disfavored Curse Elite, the duty was theirs to fail. Major fear. So we're at 10% of 2. And now we're at 24% of 3. But bam! Jumped. Almost a full 1. I see, KOKOStern. So the incompetence of the chorus shields them from blame? That sounds like the sort of law Tunon would teach his Fatebinders. From where I'm standing, Metal Man, you're the only one still defending the Disfavored. If you took a moment to own up to the Legion's shortcomings, that would go a long way towards making them stronger. What more can you tell me of the Legion? The Disfavored accepts only the finest warriors. We are all volunteers and soldiers by trade, not farmers or fishmongers pressed into service. There is a century of tradition, honor, and tactical mastery in our ranks. We don't let just anyone into the Legion. Only Northmen of character and prowess are welcome. What if a capable Tearsman wished to join? We would not recruit even a champion of the Tearsmen. Each soldier in the Legion is tied by blood and fealty to those that stood with Graven Ash during the coming of Kairos. That is part of who we are, and that will never change. So why is the Legion called the Disfavored? That I already know. As a name born in shame, now worn in honor. Even after Graven Ash stood against Kairos, he was forced to give up much, his allegiance, his pride, and the name of his vaunted army. What was the Legion originally called? The name has been forgotten by all save Ash and Kairos, and it is considered bad form to bring up the topic. Since you didn't know any better, I'll say this much. Disfavored is the only name by which one needs to know us. Let's speak of something else. Yes, let's. Back to my previous questions. I have some questions about the Scarlet Chorus. Our allies do not share this favorite sense of honor and discipline. The Chorus will trust any criminal, rapist, or halfwit with a truncheon or blade. What would you like to know about the Scarlet Chorus? What do you think of the voices of Nerat? The Archon of Secrets. All I know are rumors, hearsay, speculation, but that's as much as anyone knows of the voices. Some accounts tell he's actually dead, and the Overlord has trapped the minds of his foes in the same body to torture them all. As likely an explanation as any I've heard. In truth, I know little of the voices, and have reason to suspect almost anything about him could be true. You could tell me his tears turned cheese back into milk, and it would seem more sensible to believe you than not. Do you know anything of his powers? I'm a scholar of sorcery. I'm no scholar of sorcery, but as I understand it, the voices of Nerat is a thief of minds. They say he can swipe your thoughts and make them his own. I do know how it works. When I recruited into the Disfavored, the Iron Marshal told me never to take an audience with the voices if I didn't have a witness on hand. Do you think him disloyal? I really shouldn't comment on such matters. Barick looks ahead bluntly and then clears his throat. Damn. Average loyalty. I heard his tears can turn cheese into milk. Good one. That's very amusing, Fatebinder. Yay, he likes me. Yay. What do you know of his associates, the Archon Sirin? Sirin is the Archon of Song, one of the youngest of her rank. She can influence human emotion with her voice alone. She's a bard? The voices may be the conductor of the chorus, and I'd argue Sirin is their best weapon. The voices put her talent to good use. He had her singing a song up and down the coast, and the Tearsmen defected to the chorus in droves. Back to my questions about the chorus. What can you tell me of the troops and tactics? Tactics? They're the first I've ever heard of them. These are the first I've heard of them. The Chorus is more of an irregular mob than a proper army. Still, it's a well-armed mob, and they even have a few proper warriors and magicians in their pitiful excuse for ranks. What do you know of their warriors? Most Chorus rats are untrained peasants handed a knife or pitchfork. It doesn't take much to qualify you for the front lines. One only needs a beating heart, and even then, the Chorus could make do. Of course, not everyone in the Chorus is an infirm child or sickly old crone. Some ex-soldiers and madmen join, and the fighting elite of the Chorus form a clique known as the Scarlet Furies. Barick is too dismissive by far, but he's right that most recruits and novices pressed into service. Most will not survive the first few battles. Those who live will have experience to lead, and those who fall can easily be replaced. What sort of magic did the Chorus use? The blood chanters are the mages who follow the voices of Nerat. Like the Chorus itself, their order is not steeped in tradition and antiquity, rather built on knowledge stolen from other guilds. Their fire magic earns them a place on the battlefield, but they also have chants that steer the mind and the heart. The motherless sods that have spells that can bolster a man's courage or tap into his fears. If the Chorus is a mob, how is it led and supplied? The voices of Nerat gives orders to his elite commanders, who in turn send instructions out to the gang captains. But beneath that hierarchy, it's the chaos. Whole gangs will break from the larger force and disperse back into their homelands. The Chorus is inefficient beyond words, and yet more bodies keep coming in to replace those lost in the mess. Inefficient. Every weakling lost in the shuffle is one less burden to those in the choir, still dancing to the song of battle. Our ways must be harsh, otherwise the stupid and the soft will inherit the chant. The Chorus has a lot of mouths to feed, so the conscripts that can't or won't fight are made to gather food and water. Else, I'm told, they're fed to the pigs, becoming food and water in a sense. Barick shrugs. A fine contrast to the honor, efficiency, and decency of the Disfavored. The Legion demands courage and tenacity, but provides us with good iron and does not leave its soldiers to forge like vultures. Back to my previous questions. How do you think the Scarlet Chorus convinces so many Tearsmen to join? It began with Sirin. She had a song that got whole villages marching to her will, and once those peasants killed their neighbors or cousins in a service of the voices, it either hardened them into warriors or broke their minds for servitude. Lots of criminals and drifters joined the chorus too. It seems like the scum of the Tears just need the promise of glory and sanctioned debauchery to turn on their neighbors. It's not pretty, and it shouldn't be. The chorus is a forge. All the dirt of the Tears goes in, and the finest bits are refined into weapons. There are many that joined the Scarlet Chorus because they wish to join the winning side. It's a shame that such patriots were not born to proper northern stock, too weak or too slight to be disfavored. The Scarlet Chorus is their best freeform from fealty to the younger realms. Not everyone has the fortune of gaining Tunon's favor. Better that the Tearsmen serve Kairos in some capacity than have them rot in mass graves. Well, that doesn't give me favor or loyalty or fear. The disfavored turn away all people to the Tears. That seems selective to the point of foolishness. Or the Tearsmen would only be weak link in the disfavored shield wall. Average loyalty. Let's go with the loyalty. Let's get to loyalty 3. Yeah. Yes, the north is our shared link. Yeah? Yeah, we're at tier 3. Yay. Yes, the north is our shared link, our consistency. How could I trust a woman or a man to hold a shield wall if I don't understand their customs? Super racist. Enough about the Scarlet Chorus.
Let's move on to another matter.
Yes. What can you tell me of the Tears? Uphill both ways and full of dumb sods. I learned some history and training and I've been here for a few years, but I'm no expert. What is your assessment of the local forces? There was a time early in the war where I would have feared the younger realms working together. Imagine that, he chuckles. Once I saw the modest scope of their defense, I knew they would be easily outclassed. They couldn't even rally their best to make a competent stand. Tell me of the Vendrian Guard. They used to be the Queen's Royal Army of Vendrian. I guess defeat inclined them to a shorter name. We crushed them back in Fort 29. I'm proud to say I took part in the decisive battle. You know the rest. A year after we thought them conquered, thousands of Vendrian Oathbreakers murdered the garrison and declared themselves free of the Overlord's rule. Tell me of the Unbroken. The Unbroken Union of Stalwarts. May they rot in the decrepitude of their fallen realm. He squeezes a gauntlet into a hard fist. Much as it pains me to admit it, in all the realms of the Tears, the Unbroken have been the only foe worthy to meet the disfavored in battle. The Unbroken value tradition, just as we do. Stalwart has never lost a war on their own soil, a reputation they take quite seriously. It is fortunate that Stalwart has poor relations with all its neighbors. The rest of the Tears will not come to their aid, so as bravely as they fight, their end is inevitable. What do you tell me of the Bronze Brotherhood? Mercenaries from the free cities. The court needed extra muscle, and you can always mint new rings. Hard to believe the Tearsmen turned on each other for mere loops of metal. The Bronze Brotherhood worshipped the Scourge. Yes, those monsters from the old walls. Okay. The mercenaries are grown adults that willingly admire a magical abomination. Read into that what you will. That said, it should surprise no one that the Bronze Brotherhood eventually wanted more than just rings and turned on their contract. Kairos now considers them an enemy, which is for the best. The Overlord needs a better class of combatants.
Go on, Fatebinder.
What do you know of the Younger Realms? Before we marched to the Bastard Tier, I recall Graven Ash giving us a speech as we stood assembled at Fort Resolution. He told us that the Younger Realms lack the sense to make a stand against us. I don't think I need to point out that the average Tearsman is just plainly inferior to the sons and daughters of the North. For every one of our hours they kill, we must drag a score and a half bleeding into the soil with us. It didn't help that they were afraid of magic and relied on their battlefield prowess to stage a defense. What do you know of the Beastmen? They drilled us on Beastmen combat before the invasion, but it did little to prepare us. The local savages are lacking in brains, hygiene, and the ability to arm themselves. Hygiene? You say so? Yet the prime hunters of their species are formidable. Aside from being rapacious killers, the Beastmen make good haulers and laborers once you've killed a half that won't follow orders. Enough about the Tears. You seem like a more than capable fighter. I trained with spear and shield in my youth, but gave it up the day I earned disfavored iron. I can still throw with some accuracy, but it's a challenge these days. He knocks twice in his helmet. Why have you, were you interested in a sparring session? Show me how Northern would impale a wild boar. Loyalty too. It would be my pleasure. This is a traditional hunting technique, but I have used it time or two in the arena. Gained 5 two-handed weapon skill ranks. Wow! Dude! You can even gain skills by talking to them? This is so worth it, even though we've been doing this for 30 minutes. Super worth it. Barick demonstrates a clever move with a spear where he baits the enemy by dropping the defense and follows through by extending the weapon in a graceful plunge. He executes the maneuver several times and you are taken aback by his grace. When you're finished, Barick looks out into the northern horizon in thoughtful silence, saying no more. What is it you have on your mind? What do you think of our circumstance? The edict has left little room for confusion. A representative of the Overlord must breach Ascension Hall before Kairos' Day of Swords and must assume death is the price of failure. We should assist the Disfavored in their siege preparation, as only the Legion should take the Well's fortified citadel. I wouldn't wager a wooden ring in the Scarlet Course impressing anyone but the Vultures. What are your thoughts on me and my deeds? Any reservations I have aside, your military record speaks for itself. You are Tunon's Fatebinder, and my opinions on the matter don't come into it any way or another. What do you think of our travel companions? I am more accustomed to traveling the company of the company of soldiers, so I am out of practice judging the worth of civilians and miscreants. If you have any in particular, I will give them a thought. What do you think of Verse? She's standing right there. I try not to. She's a force of chaos, an agent of the voices of Narad. Taking her into our confidence can only lead to ruin. And yet she's a capable fighter. For the time being, I'm confident you can trust her to serve your interests and rely on her skills on the battlefield. She may even offer some useful perspective on the war. Cool. So, reputation, Barick loyalty, Iron Storm.
My Lord Binder, you have something which requires my attention?
Loyalty 3.
What can I do for you?
Immediate concerns. Something else? Yeah, I don't think we have anything. We can actually talk to Verse, however.
At your service, Fatebinder.
Bows is an flourish.
What do you need?
To pick the Fallen Sister's weapon skills? No, let's...
What did you have in mind?
Go
ahead, Fatebinder.
Can't I ask her about my other companions? Finance care to duel?
That would be an understatement, and I thought you'd never ask. Since you're obviously at a huge disadvantage, I'll let you pick our weapon of choice.
Oh, okay. So, this is something that I don't like. There are things that I've already clicked before, but now they have new options, and it doesn't tell me in any way. So it's kind of like I have to rummage through them, which I don't like, but whatever. Let's try dual-wielding knives. How about bows? Let's play target practice. So which one do I want skill points in, basically? Both of them are kind of useless to me because I'm not going to use any of it, but how about bows?
If you want to risk becoming a pincushion, it's your funeral. But you're right about one thing. This will be fun.
5 bow skills. You take turns loosing blunted arrows, each using each other as moving targets versus an accomplished runner, and swats the few projectiles that get close out of the air. When her turn arrives, it takes all of your energy to keep up with her relentless volley of projectiles. You observe her technique and take a valuable lesson to heart.
You held your own. Call me impressed. Need anything else, or did I tire you out?
Ooh. Okay. Okay, how about that? 32 minutes talking to people. That's what we get for playing goddamn games like this. But now we can open up these few things. Go to Berrick. And yeah, we're almost at this, but we do have Iron Storm. Yeah, swords and javelins emerge from Barick's armor and fly into a cloud of iron about the Fatebinder. These weapons begin to rain down in a storm around the Fatebinder, damaging enemies nearby. Ooh, interesting. 1 per rest, recovery 4 seconds total. So it's basically around me, so it's kind of like a defensive skill for me. That sounds fantastic, actually. Traps nearby enemies in twisted spirals of rock, petrifying them for a short time. This thing sounds awesome. Like's a good joke. This sounds really, really good for me, if I understand it correctly. All right, so journal. Let's do some quests, please. This is primary, so let's do one of these two. Taking the outer wall or this. These are completed. Okay, had completed. Yeah, we can hide completed for now. Why not? So, Forge-bound iron or Earthshaker's reinforcements. Without extent of the Earthshaker can be summoned from the stone shore to reinforce the Earthshakers already in the valley. However, there's been no signs of them since the valley is sealed. You agree to investigate the last known location of these reinforcements and learn their fate. Go to the Northern Clearing. Travel to the Northern Clearing to search for the Earthshaker reinforcement. Okay.
You got.
Let's go do that. Let's quick save, make a big save after talking to Barick for an hour.
Got it. And
let's just go to the Northern Clearing. Northern Clearing. Oh, it's like all the way over there. Okay, I guess. 10 hours to complete the journey from the Disfavored to Northern Clearing. Sure. Maybe we should go to the closer things first. Maybe we should go to the Scarlet Course camp first. Maybe we should go to the Scarlet Course. Maybe we'll get more stuff. Let's go to the Scarlet Course camp first. Ambush. Venture and guard. You can go no further until you deal them. I've been ambushed. Oh my god. At least we get some combat, which we haven't done so far. Ooh.
That's far enough, Fatebinder.
Okay, I thought this was just a fight, but apparently we're gonna talk. Ebb. She is loyalty and fear. She's gonna join me. That's far enough, Fatebinder. A woman's voice booms from atop a nearby outcropping. Flashes of aquamarine body paint pick out from under her loose-fitting traveler's garb, and her outfit is fastened in braids and knots of sailor's line. Flanked on either side by warriors dressed in Vendrian Guard regalia, the woman leans on an elaborate blade staff pulsing with arcane energy. Yay, she's a mage thing. A swath of blue fabric rests draped over her arms. Her aquamarine body paint, the blue body pigment, bladed staff, and complex braided attire are the traditional trapping of the School of Tides. According to the Fatebinder Herogulus, the majority of the school fled before the coming of Kairos. The remainder were last seen during the first campaign of Vendrian as well. The School of Tides traditionally studies the magic of water and grave light, the art of directing the moon's arcane light into baleful searing energy. The blue flag is a symbol of diplomacy and truce, recognized across most of the known world, and it is a custom the Tearsmen hold dear. To harm another person under the auspices of a blue flag is a grave offense in both the Tears and in Kairos' Empire. The customary punishment is death. Fine, we won't kill them.
In accordance with ancient customs north and south, I offer and request a delay of blade. There are matters we must discuss without fear of reprisal.
The woman bows deeply, lowering her head in a practiced display of etiquette. The warrior by her remain in a ready stance, their nerves clearly on edge. Draw your weapons. Run while you can. Run! Or we could talk to her, which is obviously I'm going to do. You would detain a Fatebinder of the Archon of Justice. Unwise. Bitch! Okay, in accordance with ancient customs north and south, I abide by this truth.
As is our custom, we are ready to kill to defend our lands, but we kill only in fair battle. We don't slay our prisoners. We know this isn't Kairos' way, but we must have hope.
Okay.
A few of my kin have gone missing, and though they may have perished, I have to inquire on the off chance they still live. If Captain Tarkus Deimos still lives, we would negotiate for his release.
He's super dead, isn't he? If Captain Tarkus Deimos, one of the leaders of the attack on Edgering Ruins, Tarkus Deimos was subdued during the battle. In accordance with Disfavored, you ordered Deimos executed. Damn, if I would have made him live. Yeah. Tarkus Deimos is dead. Gain average loyalty. Found in Jerusalem. That fear is with the chorus now. Sorry, the name means nothing. Assuming he's our prisoner, what would you offer in exchange? Berrick. I will not negotiate with Oathbreakers. Berrick likes me. But, yeah, attack. We're done here. Tunon gained very major wrath. So, yeah, Tunon will be pissed off. He's dead.
I see. That is as I feared, but thank you for telling me all the same. I prefer closure to wishful thinking.
Legit?
If I may make one more inquiry. What of Palox Tyrell? Did he survive?
Though you rarely have the luxury of matching names to the countless Tearsmen you've encountered, you are reasonably certain she is asking about the Vendrian Guard warrior that took Drastus hostage at Edgering Ruil. He did not survive the encounter. Another dead Oathbreaker whomever you will ask about next, I assure you, nothing can be done. He's dead. Taken by the chorus. I know not of this person, or, again, very major wrath. Damn. Another dead Oathbreaker.
My apologies, Fatebinder. I had a terrible feeling this errand was in vain from the start. I had no expectations that our friends could be saved, as I'm sure the time for swapping prisoners is long gone. But at least I know of what became of them. That'll have to be enough.
Sorry you did not find what you were seeking. Gain Vendrian Guard, gain average favor. I have some questions for you. We're through. Leave while you still can. Fear and wrath. I have questions, though.
We shouldn't be socializing with Oathbreakers.
I will entertain them as best I can. After all, understanding is the only hope we have. What is it you wish to know?
Why do you resist Kairos? What are you trying to say?
I grew up without my knee bent to Kairos. And if I'm going to bow to someone, let it be another Tearsman. We've ruled ourselves just fine for centuries, so we'll give our lives so that our sons and daughters might rule themselves.
The Younger Realms were beset with constant battle. You'd prefer that to Kairos' order?
You make conflict sound like a bad thing. Yes, the Younger Realms saw frequent battles, but it was never this wholesale slaughter like we've seen of late. No Tearsman ever cast an edict on the soil, or forced prisoners to kill each other, or butchered beastmen tribes.
Only your daughters are really free in the Tears. Why fight against Kairos' equality?
There's freedom, then there's trusting idiots with power. Give a man 1,000,000 marauders, he'll lose sleep worrying over his neighbor's 1,000. I prefer my realms ruled by the braver sex. For centuries we've left the lands to the women, and the seas to the men. And we did plenty fine until Kairos came around.
Damn! Okay. What makes you think you have a chance?
Oh, we don't. Those who believed Kairos could be stopped all died years ago, in the first wave of fighting. It's not about the hope of victory. It's about the hope of inspiring others. It is very likely we will fall here in Vendrian's Well. But perhaps others will arise elsewhere.
But a mage like you would not be the subject of such superstition and fear under Kairos' reign.
I doubt life is any better sworn to some mad archon. I'd rather stand with my fellow Tearsmen. Or, I suppose, stand immediately behind them in the event of an attack.
Ah, mage humor! Okay, at that remark, the soldiers flanking her exchange shocked looks. Ep turns and focus to her compatriots.
Yeah, you heard me. Way things were years back, you'd all be calling me a water witch and conspiring to sell me out to the nearest sage. Just because I'm helping you stop Kairos doesn't mean I've forgotten the hospitality of ages past.
Damn, she's snappy! A sage on the longest surviving schools of magic in the tiers, the School of Ink and Quill. It's a venerable institution devoted to the acquisition and preservation of knowledge, or so the sages profess, putting more of their energy towards amassing knowledge than dismissing it. Disseminating it, they began their scriptorium in 17 TR, and through a series of incremental expansions, the structure became the Valium Citadel. Oh, the Valium Citadel will only be known as the Burning Library after Kairos' Edict of Fire brought ruination in 430. Not all sages know magic, but those who have mastered the guild's traditional spell can employ magic of protection and preservation. It is a poorly kept secret that the sages have gradually acquired a wide array of magic practiced by rival mage guilds over the generations.
And people wonder why the Tearsmen could never unite in time to fight back. It's refreshing to see that some things never change.
She nods, silently awaiting your follow-up. How did you and your friends overthrow the garrison?
I would joke that the voices of Narat left the gate unlatched, but dozens of warriors lost their lives taking the citadel. There was no secret to it. We simply attacked with speed and certainty at a time when the Archons were elsewhere in the tiers. The Scarlet Chorus had a rout, and what few disfavored soldiers were present made an impressive showing. But they were surrounded and overwhelmed once the chorus fled.
Who is in charge of this insurrection?
Listen to you. Thinking just like the Overlord wants you to think. There always has to be a person in charge, or things don't make sense. Well, we don't answer to anyone. We are each of us sons and daughters of the tiers, and take this task upon ourselves freely. But Captain Tarkus Ari, former Falksman of Queen Vendrian Alanta, is the voice we trust when we seek unanimity.
Okay. I assume Tarkus Ari and Tarkus Deimos are
Yes.
relations?
Deimos was Ari's brother. We were certain he was dead, but the captain takes family seriously. So I volunteered to find some answers. And now here we are.
Did you kill any of the disfavored prisoners with magic?
That's some sort of trick question? No, we don't kill prisoners. Magic or otherwise.
Okay, that's relevant for one of the other things. Were there prisoner swaps in the past?
That is our way, Binder. Here in the South, only thugs and bandits kill prisoners. The younger realms may be guilty of constant fighting, but we never slay each other when the battle's long over. We're not about to change that now. As a rule, Kairos' forces haven't been keen on swapping prisoners. But I know our disfavored prisoners aren't prisoners anymore. I just assumed they were swapped for some of our own. Fair enough. But now a question for you. The Edict. I can feel its magic coursing through the air. Everyone can. But those of us enlightened to the currents of magic feel it most. The wording of the Edict. What was it?
Such details are for Kairos only. Kairos' forces must take Ascension Hall by the Day of Swords, or all in the valley will perish. Average fear from Barick, lose very minor loyalty. So Berrick really don't want me to tell her. Or lie, it's a curse in the valley, those disloyal will slowly weaken and die. No. I'm gonna tell her. I'm just gonna tell her. Fuck you, Barick. I wonder if we can, by losing it, we actually lose the special power thing, but let's find out.
In the name of the vaunted North, the will of Kairos should be delivered with blade and hammer, not to the ears of oathbreakers and compromisers.
Yeah, we're not even in tier 3 anymore. Damn.
Curious. You did say all in the valley. So the edict will affect Kairos' forces? This is most unexpected.
Her eyes widen at your words. Correct. Average loyalty. Yay.
That is most troubling.
He likes me.
So either the soldiers come to destroy and kill us, or the edict does the work. I suppose we should be so honored the Overlord is taking no chances on us. I've another question for you, if you will entertain it.
Sure, I love questions.
Are we really standing here and chatting with Oathbreakers? It's hard to watch. Like cuddling a goat you're going to kill for dinner.
Fuck you.
When I was young, my parents told me the tiers were special, and the Overlord's edicts and armies could never touch us. Seems I've been told a hefty sum of lies.
Yes.
So answer this honestly for me, please. Is it true that Tunon's fate binders can smell truth from falsehood?
I'm a truthful person, dude.
Thanks for that. I could see why you'd want to foster the mystique all the same. The School of Tides would always tell commoners we didn't know how to summon drinkable water. Once they find out, you can't eat in peace.
Nice.
And Kairos' edicts. I have heard the sages speak at length that some of the edicts elsewhere in the world have been broken. How is this?
Lore 37, damn. It varies based on the wording of the proclamation. If Kairos provides a clause allowing the edict to end, the clause can be satisfied. Has some control over how the edict lingers, but Kairos only knows the exact detail. Average loyalty or gain average loyalty, but it's a lore thing, so lore. I like the fact that you can always glare silently. It's like... I wonder if you can go through the entire game just like... Nope, I'm a voiceless protagonist, you know? Okay, lore.
Ah, so some edicts are forever. The rest are, as long as Kairos has in mind? Needless to say, Kairos' magic is unlike anything we've seen in any Archon. And one more mildly self-indulgent question, but I simply must know. Kairos, male or female?
It's a really good question. I honestly do not know for certain. And only in fact because I have loyalty.
Really? You don't know either? You work for the Overlord, but you don't know if she, or he, has an innie or an outie?
The fuck? I like Ebb. Ebb is my favorite character so far. Also because she's fully voice worked and I like voice work. But yeah, no, I don't. But I have it on good authority that Imperial Harem is stocked with both. I think the Overlord just wants to keep people guessing. Seems to work quite well. Or would you feel better or worse to know you lost to a man or a woman? Why does it matter? Yeah.
You speak true. It ultimately matters not. My apologies. The question now seems rather foolish. You must remember, Kairos was just a horror story from distant lands for much of our lives. We have many unanswered questions. You'll forgive, I hope, the questions. The Overlord and his Archons used to be things of legend. Now they're everyday maladies, and I'm eager to separate the truth from the lies I've been told by house and guild.
Sure. Kill you later! I mean...
In accordance to our most ancient customs, let us depart in honorable accord. May peace find you, Fatebinder.
She bows deeply, pounding her staff on the ground twice before leaving, turning to leave. Okie dokies.
You got it.
That was interesting. There's also one over here. This is faintest outline of a soldier's arm in the bottom of the pond, a victim of previous battle in the area. Yay, blood moss.
Not happening. Not happening.
Deer. Kill the deer. Kill the deer. Yeah, vagrant's chow, garnet, whatever, blah, blah. The grassland of the tiers stretch far through the lands, much of it remains uninhabited and unclaimed by any faction. And we're gonna go over here, just to make sure there's nothing interesting, and there isn't, and then we can keep going. That was very interesting. Scarlet Corps Camp, which is where we wanted to go. Sure. Let's do it. 32 minutes and 49 seconds. Whatever. Loading! Okay, damn, this place looks big, and damn, this was 50 minutes of talking to people, and we're gonna talk more people. is kind of a... I guess we're doing a lore playthrough in a sense, because we fought 2 things so far. That's it. I honestly have to say that I despise the fact that I can't rename saves. It's probably the worst thing in the universe. Kind of. Yeah. Pretty terrible. Broken staff. I'll take everything. Scarlet Fury. Horde. And some people with names. People with names! Shiver Shank. And Quiet Shiv. Shiver Shank and Quiet Shiv. Have bigger problems. Quiet Shiv. It proves everything. The warrior slams her fist together in a resounding clap. Like, for instance, whether you're fit to lead that flock of children. Behind her, the members of her gang posture with weapons held at the ready. Did you not hear the news of the edict? This is a foolish distraction. We ought to be saving our fight for the enemy. The course warrior looks to his gang, giving them a quick nod. What's the problem here? No problem here, Madame Binder. She tosses her blade in the air, catching it with a smile on the way down. Captain Fuckwit here seems he's about to balk from this challenge, thinking just because he used to run a ship, he's qualified to run a gang. She spits on the ground, looking up with a scowl, so I'm calling him out, because the way I see it, his warrior is out to follow me, not his new blood. Captain Fuckwit was my father. Fuckwit will do just fine. The warrior points to the opposing gang. If we have to prove our strength, we'll do so happily, but I'll have your hands and feet removed and the rest of you kept for my own use. I'll let you all fight this out, or allow me to join you. I enjoy a good bloodbath. And still gain minor favor. Just walk away. Okay, wager on this fight? I could use a few rings. Why not? Might as well win a string as I gut her and take her gang. A sharp, vicious grin cuts her throat. You're welcome to try. I'll get 5 bronze rings on Quiet Shiv. My bet's on Shiver Schwank. 5 bronze ring on Quiet Shiv. The soldier offers quick solemn nod. Lost 5 copper. Come, if we will meet first my blade, blah blah. Oh, Shiver Shank destroyed them. Oh, dude, I kind of want to fight in though. I clicked that. I actually just want to fight both of them because then they're all dead, and I gain favor, and I fight something. We haven't fought anything in a very long time, and I kind of feel like doing that. So I'm gonna put Barick over here and you over here.
I'm on it.
And then I'm gonna save. Okay, what is this about? Allow me to join you. Be my guest. I've always wanted to see a Fatebinder in action. He falls pointedly quiet, but finally shrugs one shoulder, seemingly smart enough to not to protest. Subterfuge. Ooh, athletics. Cut Quiet Shiv's throat, then I'll end this quickly. Lose minor favor. Ooh, I could just kill him. I could just kill her. But it's subterfuge. I like subterfuge. And screw minor favor with the Scarlet Course. Who cares? Meh. You quickly snatch Quickshiv's dagger as she flicks it into the air. Before she can even utter a cry of surprise, you stab her in the jugular with her own blade. She crumbles to the ground, face twisted with as much shock and awe as everyone else around you. Enjoy your new position, gang boss. Oh, damn. And we get our boots. Do I like that? I get Subterfuge +1. Because I get Subterfuge +1, that's the only reason I'm totally doing this.
Let's be off.
It was fun, I don't care. It's a nice little resolution to that, in my opinion. There's a course ground. State your business. The guard places her hands by her belt as you approach, gripping the hilt of her blade. Past this point is course territory, and you don't look like someone's conscript. You sure you're in the right place? I'm the Fatebinder. Bitch! Or I'm always in the right place. Ooh, I'm always in the right place. Locking eyes with you. That walking hunk of rust. What's he, she, maybe it doing here? He's an allied warrior and my guard. You don't want to make an issue of this. Average loyalty and minor wrath. Glare. Athletics, 32. Step in close, push her down. Scarlet Crows gain average favor. Ooh, I like athletics. I can finally do something with athletics. Or this favorite thought I needed a minder and I didn't want to hurt his feelings. Gain average fear and minor favor. I'm just going to push her down. Before she can draw her blade, you advance, place your foot behind hers, and give her a stiff shove on the shoulder. Caught off balance, she tumbles backwards, triggering an upburst of laughter in the other guard. I can't believe you sassed the Fatebinder. You're such a stupid ponce. Didn't I tell you we have a special guest coming? The guard waves you with a smile. Come on in and don't let the ninny shitters and can't give you any guff. These are coarse grounds. Take your business. Okay. Sorry, dear. Get destroyed, though. Okay, sorry. Amusing. The Fifth Eye. Death Knell. And Scarlet Furies. And all kinds of stuff everywhere. What is this? Scroll. A scroll sits here. Glowing with mystical energy. Scroll. Sigil of Illusion. Cool, I guess. We're 54 minutes, so we could talk to a few people. Fifth Eye? Who do we talk to first? Who do we talk to first? What is this? These arrows are splintered. They're fletching mottled. They were likely pulled from corpses. The barrel's full of murky red water. Several limbs bob around the greasy soup skin. Battle plans are scribbled over a bloodstained map of the tiers. Arrows points towards the inner ring of the Vineyard Well Valley. The small circles are drawn around the citadel. Water. Salaveros. Most of these provisions are withered with rot. Most of the... What? Subterfuge? What happened? Oh, we found this thing.
Huh.
Cool. So there really are, like... There really is a good reason to...
Slow and steady.
Do this from time to time, just to check that there's, you know, secret stuff around where you are.
Ah, got it.
Yeah, subterfuge. And we can't take another camping supplies because we're full. Which is fine with me. And this, we get some rot spear. But yeah, so every once in a while I'll do this.
I'll be your shadow.
Kind of have to try and remember that to see things better. Though I do have it quite high, but we'll see. Ooh, Ardent Bronze Sword. Sweet, I guess. What's this? The spears are brittle and rusted, and the stench of piss and fecal matter emanate from this tent not clearly used for rest. Clearly not used for rest. And a benefit dagger. There's nothing interesting here, but he's dead. Whatever it is. Did I not take... Oh, I did take the thing, but there's another one that I can't do. Reg and Baz. Subterfuge 47. Damn, I don't have 47. I've got 44. So close. That's really close. Not actually that close. Somewhat so. Sniggler Daggers. Gotta love that. These threadbare tents show signs of hard use and long-term exposure to the elements.
Not happening.
And we can take this. Bronze hammer, blood.
Happening.
All. This is too much for me, and there's supposed to be... Oh, no.
Not happening.
Go all the way over there, somehow. Oh, it's really like around. I guess you can only see that because you really try to explore and see the fact that there's a thing here. Now it's going to be something completely useless, like a shattered iron spaldur. Shattered remnants of a shoulder armor worn by one of the horde. The spaldur can be sold to a merchant for spare parts. Whatever. And this is useless. Can't open it. And there's also a thing over here, which you need to go to through here. How do you get there? I don't know. I wish I had haste. I really wish I had haste. So, should I start talking to everything? Because there's a lot, and I think we're just gonna talk. Just gonna do it next time. So today, we talked to Berrick, and then that chick, which I forgot her name. It was 3 letters. Nell, whatever it was. That's what we did today. That's all we did. Still haven't done a single goddamn quest.
That wasn't so hard.
Ooh, they're fine. Iron boots and momentum gauntlets. Multi-strike. Unweapon crit. Damage 6 shock. Awesome. Unarmed strike. This sounds pretty damn cool. I'm going to take it. As I do with pretty much everything else. So, we've got a million people to talk to. Let's actually just take a look at our inventory and finish this one, and next time talk to everything. I'm really enjoying the lore. I haven't just enjoyed the lore of a world in a long time, and this is just fun. I mean, I just finished playing Bayonetta, which has the stupidest story goddamn ever, but it's a funny one. But yeah, it doesn't really compare to what we have here. So, weapons. What is Barick using as a weapon? He's using a Disfavored iron sword, which is one-handed. What is up with him in terms of stuff? So he has two weapon-handed and 1 weapon. He's good on both of those. Yeah, he's actually really good in one-handed and 2-handed weapons. So he can use whichever. And the thing is that with one-handed, you can also get a shield, which has recovery, parry, dodge. Wow, that's 24. He gets 24 for dodge. That's pretty damn good. Disfavored Iron Sword, so another Iron Sword. Ardent Bronze Sword, which has pretty much the exact same stats. Why does it seem that it has more DPS and less armor penetration? Oh, yeah, because it does. Because this one has +2 accuracy. Is that why it deals more damage? It has 2 accuracy, less armor penetration. So armor penetration. Where's the armor penetration? No, like, how do I... Armor penetration reduces the effectiveness of the target armor by a specific amount. So when a target armor is 5, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's pretty good. Ardent Bronze Sword, I don't know if it's... It seems like slightly better. It doesn't have that, but it has more accuracy. And accuracy is pretty good. All attacks in theory compare the attacker's accuracy. So he'll hit more, but it'll deal less damage if he does hit. But you actually have more DPS with this because he's more likely to hit. I am unsure of how they calculate anything, really. But let's do this, because why not? Or we can go with the one-handed bronze hammer, which has more DPS but plus recovery. Yeah, and recovery is a bad thing because recovery is the amount of time that it takes you to goddamn get a move on. So we don't like that. In terms of armor, though, Crush and Fire, this, but less Pierce and Frost. How about her? Iron Boots. Yeah, this is crap. Bloody Scarlet Fury Boots are much, much better. So this is not that good, even though it is of better quality, it seems. It has more armor, but the recovery is slightly greater, and Pierce and Frost armor, but we do get a lot of Crush and Fire armor, because this one has specific things that it does badly. And slightly less Pierce and Frost. This one's actually, yeah, this is way better. Yeah, this is she's better all around. And she doesn't have anything, but this has deflection and disengagement defense and all those weird things, but not armor. But he needs the armor, so I'm just gonna give it to him. But he can't because that's what he has and it's all locked in. Right, why am I even looking? This is whatever. This, however, is amazing. Bloody Scarlet Fury Leather Gauntlets. Yeah, this looks like better in every way, isn't it? And it gives you multi-strike. Can I wear it? Yes, I can. Unarmed DPS and precision. And it gives you multi-strike. But for her, it's also deflection and precision and unarmed... Yeah, we're gonna go with that. And then, can I wear this? No, an only verse can equip it. Yeah, basically I think we're good with this. Are these just strictly better than what she's using? Yes, they are actually strictly better than what she's using, and they're the same. Horde Boots and Blood Chanter. Are they exactly the same? They are exactly the same. Huh. They just have different names. Cool. Seems like they're strictly better. So I can sell everything else. I've got a million consumables that I will never, ever, ever use. Like, ever. And this is spell creation. Oh, right, we can create new spells. He even has a little bit of lore, but not really. So, we can use the Sigil of Illusion. Those who master the Sigil of Illusion are skilled in the arts of deceit and trickery, using its powers to misdirect and confuse their targets at critical moments. Often derided by combat mages for its inability to kill outright, those who specialize in illusion know its powers can turn the tide of any battle. It merely requires some smart enough to know how to use it. So click that, and then we select an expression, Focused Intect or Distant Impact. Let's do Distant Impact. We get False Pit. False Pit. Conjure the illusion of an endless black pit below the target, convincing them that they are falling to their death. The enemy is left prone until they can make sense of the illusion. Control illusions and lore. I have a lot of lore. I don't have a lot of control illusions, but generally I'm pretty good at magic, so whatever. I deal some damage, and then it goes prone for you. Seems pretty good. And we can select range, sigil, or yeah, this will add 25 lore, which means I can't use it. And this is plus 10, just gives you a little bit of range. So this is cool. Let's assign it to right there. And then we could also try with the Focused Intent, which gives us Spectral Blur. Masks the target in a blurred illusion, making them harder to hit. Ooh, graze detection and hit deflections for 45 seconds. And this is pretty cool. It doesn't have any point of area of effect, but range sigil makes it 4 meters, and you can definitely use it. So now we can assign it right there, and we can even assign it here. Awesome! Verse can use it so she can cast it on herself, and then nothing can attack her. That's amazing. Well, nothing can touch her at all, ever. But yeah, this, what would this make? I'll actually give it a radius, like more than 1 meter, which would be awesome. But yeah, I need a bajillion lore. Basically, I need a bajillion lore to be good at spells. And Barick can't use anything, sort of. Yeah, if we just use this, can Barick use it? No, this is already 30. But this, however, Sigil Focus Intent, he can actually do. If we add this, it'll be 25, so he can't. But just like this, it's cool that everyone can use it if they have enough lore. It's fun that they found something proper for lore, because lore usually sucks. So this is Spectral Blur. This could actually be very good, even just like this for him. Sorry, how do I reset? Yeah, Sigil of Illusion. This one, Spectral Blur. And then assign just this here. Okay. So now you have this. You have the one with a little bit more range, right? And she has the one with more range on herself as well. She has Charged Fist, which is great. You have Charged Fist. I've got Electric Jolt, which is cool. I've got all spells that I can currently do, actually. And he has just Spectral Blur because he can't really do anything else. But this is awesome. This is really cool. What am I missing? I don't even know. Awesome. So if we just take a look at them, she has Spectral Blur and she has Death from Above, Bloodstone, Furious Rage, which is our special ability. And did he lose the? No. Once we get Ardent Tolling. Both bang up their shields, harassing an enemy. Wait, is it? Did we lose the thing because we lost his reputation with Berrick? Did I lose it? Yes, I did. So I actually lose it because I don't, because I'm right on the edge of having him loyal, but I don't have this skill, which sucks. And we'll have to get it again by anything, just getting it in any kind of way. But yeah. This is a joined thing, and the rest of it is just him using his stuff, and he has Spectral Blur, which is awesome, the fact that he has that. And I have all of the things. Charge Strike, Thrust, and then Charge Fist, and then that, and then that. And I have all of the unique double abilities, which I think I'm going to throw away because they're all... This Cone of Magic? Pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going to... how do I remove these? I want to have spells. False Pit. I'm going to put the False Pit over here. And Spectral Blur. This is... Yeah. Warrior's Respite, Blood-Soaked Stones, KOKOStern in Verse. So we're just going to put it over here. No, like this over here. Wait, what? Why can't I... Huh? Why can't I put the spell there? Participant busy. No. No, that's not why I didn't mean you should use it. Really didn't mean that you should use it. I meant you should take this spell and put it over here. Okay, that's all. I think that's why I couldn't change things. Can I remove these? I can't they have to stay there, which is kind of uncomfortable. And they switch around if I do anything like that. Kind of annoying. Yeah, so I think the combined abilities I'll leave on the people that have combined abilities instead of me having everything, because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, more of this would be comfortable. There's probably a way of doing it, but whatever. Good enough. Next time, we'll talk to the chorus camp, basically. And then maybe we'll have a fight with something and use all these abilities. Because so far we've been 4 hours, 5 hours in, and we have barely fought anything. Because lore is interesting. What can I say? Lore is interesting. And that's it. Thanks a lot for watching as usual. And I'll see you guys next time for more lore and quests. And then we'll see what happens with things. We're seriously just talking to people all the time. I'm enjoying myself, and that's the important part, and I hope you are as well. See you next time.